Hello, this assignment is giving feedback on the 5 points of fighting the good fight. So to begin with, I think I'd add a little bit to the first point, or maybe even add a point zero, and that's basically reinforcing the idea of teaching constructive confrontation and disagree and commit types of behaviors that we're looking at very early on in individuals' careers. So the point sort of assume that individuals already have these skills. But what I found at Intel, which I was fortunate enough to work at for 13 years coming right out of school, is that Intel taught constructive confrontation and disagree and commit literally from the start at new employee orientation. And we were told right from the beginning that these skills are going to be with you your entire career. And also, as you progress in your career, there's sort of an unwritten expectation that leaders become teachers. And so I actually taught constructive confrontation and disagree and commit these modules for new employees as I got a little bit more experience. So I'd add a point zero maybe, or somewhere incorporate of train and set the culture to new employees. The skill will be with them the entire career. The second point I had is looking at point number 2. I would incorporate the notion of removing rank into the brainstorming session. We've seen earlier in the class about how people frequently look at leaders. We've acknowledged that the power of bringing in an ignorant person into a creative session is very important, and it's important to ensure that the outsider is contributing. And sometimes if a new person's in the room and maybe there's a culture where a very senior person is dominating, having that rank in the room might stifle that session. And I saw this a lot at Samsung, where it's a culture of heavy leadership. And often when the leader was in the room during a problem-solving session, individuals would tend to be quiet, contribute very little until they got the sense that the leader was either on board with their idea or not. And often to get that leader on board with their idea, that was done outside the meeting, sometimes in informal sessions or talking to someone who had access to that leader. And then once that leader acknowledged that idea was a good path, then the fast followership kicked in and things went pretty quickly. However, with the leader in that room, sure did keep people quiet often. So I'd maybe add something like bring everyone into the fray, gently rein in people who talk too much, encourage those who are silent to speak up. Maybe add have people remove their rank when they come into the session. And lastly, I disagree with the point 5 a little bit. After the fight is over, do some backstage work. I'd maybe replace or add this with take the last 5 minutes of a session and do an after-action review. Ask how well did the session go? Did people get their ideas in? Did they feel comfortable? Did they feel attacked? Were they able to focus on the challenge instead of the person? Were the statements that were made constructive? And were they following that value of constructive confrontation? While it's often good to do feedback in private, I think the larger good is really building the skill of constructive confrontation in the team. And there's a great way of doing that is in a very open and safe manner during an after-action review as part of the session. So really good assignment, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.